Hey, I wanted to hop on and do another quick podcast. Every once in a while, I'd like to do one that gives some tips, some things that I'm going through, or just some things that I'm learning as we journey through life and, survival mode, right? To not only survive, but thrive in our lives. And I was listening to a podcast the other day. I have to give credit. Ryan Mickler did a great job. And he was talking about, really what to do when we're going through a hard time. And I know a lot of these may sound, and I'm going to say there are about 7 to 8 strategies here. And there's a couple more that I've added as I started to dive deeper into my own journey. And, the first thing I want to say is that we all go through downtimes. We all go through this period where, we might feel down. I hate to use the word depressed, but we get depressed and just not feel like ourselves. And I call it going through a season because seasons change, right? So, magically, and I'm not going to say magically, they do resolve. I did say magically, but they resolve spontaneously. I should use that term. It's not magic, but even when we're going through anxious times, depressed times, I've had it in my own life where it's kind of resolved, and I just have to kind of deal with what I'm going through. And there are some great ways to maybe expedite it, but to use it as a learning. Sometimes our pain could be the greatest teachers in our world, and I love that because I learned that with I've had a lot of challenging moments in my life. I think one of the bigger eye-opening ones, if you've heard my story, was I had a diagnosis of a brain tumor out of nowhere, and it forced me to go inside and really start to look deeply at myself and look at kind of the biggest challenges in my life and looking at how we overcome them. And I know we focus and we look, we got all this social media stuff going on and everybody says all this positive thing, and I'm guilty of it too, because there's times I want to be positive. We want to feel positive. We want to be attracted to positive. But at the same time, sometimes we just need some real authentic self where, we're going through a hard time. And I think denying it is not the answer, but embracing it and learning from it and asking yourself some deeper questions. And this is what I did. Like, what is this here to teach me? How can I share this and use this to help others? Recovering addicts in Alcoholics Anonymous, there's something in their literature. It says no matter how far down that we have gone, we could see how our experience can help others. And I love that statement because, we're all not perfect, right? And sometimes, we get attracted to the struggle. We can empathize with the struggle. But how do we get out the other side of it? And one of those tips, Ryan had talked about it in his podcast, but is getting out and helping somebody, serving other people, going out, maybe volunteering, helping your spouse, helping your kid, helping anybody. It gets us out of our own selves and helps us really get other directed. And it frees our mind. That's one of the things. The other thing that I've done, and I used to resist this a lot, and I had to really make an effort to pick this apart. But you hear people talk about writing a gratitude list or talking about being grateful. And we live in, if you're listening to this and you're in the United States, year's 2022, like, we live in a great country. We have a lot of things to be grateful for. And there's other places and other things that, other places that just people may not have what we have. And, everything, the things that seem to be the most challenging, what is the point in it? And Jocko Willink talks about this. He has a video, if you ever get a chance to Google it, it's called Good. And it's like when something bad happens, he's like, good. You could learn from it. Dust off, reload. Hey, we didn't get this, what we wanted? Good. Then we'll get something else. Or we use it to dust off and learn and move on. And I think sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, that I've had a fixed mindset where it's like this all or nothing, or this is the way it is, instead of I'm learning, I'm growing, and doing all that. One of the things too is get moving, get up and move in the morning. One of the things I found when I was really down, when I'm not feeling so good, I don't want to do anything, but I force myself to go for a run. And it's more for the mental, not just the physical. It gets that mind going, get moving, get doing around, not sitting around, binging on Netflix and doing all these things. Not that Netflix is totally wrong all the time. I do it at times for sure, but it's really important to just get up and move. The other thing is take in quality information. Ryan Mickler had mentioned that. So quality information, read a book, listen to an Audible book. I'm huge on Audible books and podcasts. And there's certain podcasts I listen to that really help me feel like, get me out of myself and help with some of the, maybe some internal motivation or something I'm missing out on. I know that, there's a couple I go to, and, lately, I have to be honest, I had some periods where I felt down, and I plug into a podcast, and I'm like, wow, that was helpful. That really taught me something. And it just fed my mind with some positive, some things that I could do proactively. So that is something else. Get around good people. I have to say this. Tony Robbins, this is like Tony Robbins 101. If you're not sure of Tony Robbins, he's been around for so long. He says, you become the people you spend the most time with. Who are you spending time with? What are you doing? And are the people that you're with down and depressed? Are they not going in a direction that you want to go in, or something of that nature? That is something to really pay attention to, is to start to look, and don't hide, even get around some people, okay? Work on yourself. That's another thing. Find the skill that you want to improve and just try to work on it. It could even be doing simple movements, there's a couple things I want to do that I'm going to get active in, and I'm going to call it out. I'm going to get into jiu-jitsu. I want to, ever since my brain stuff, I was a little hesitant about contact, but that's something I want to do, or get back into yoga and do some of those things that I want to do. And then the other thing, and I'm going to end with this because I know that I've been talking for a little bit, is commit to something greater than yourself. This has really been hitting me more than anything. I listened to Jocko Willink. If you haven't heard, it's a Jocko podcast, and he talked about this from a serviceman's perspective. He's a retired Navy SEAL, and a lot of the SEALs that either are out that get out of the service or retire, they go to these places that are really, they could get down. They could lose, they could kind of lose their mojo. And he talks about they have to find another mission. And I have to say that I believe this is true for all of us. One of the things that I've learned was, through my diagnosis, through some of the things I was doing to help other people, I realized that there was a shift that I wanted to make. I wasn't quite sure what it was, but what I felt I was doing wasn't working. And I really kind of got down about it. I have to be completely candid. And I realized that my mission isn't my passion, this mission that I was focusing on. And I'm like, wow. And I started to really go inward, outward to the Lord, or inward, whoever you believe in. I believe in God for sure. And like, what am I here for? What is my purpose? What is my story and my experiences about? And it's about finding our mission, because without a mission, we're basically rudderless. And that drives some of the actions that we'll be doing. And a mission or a purpose that is greater than yourself. It could be something around what your kids are doing, or a cause. It could be anything. It could be a new career mission, a new business mission, and something in your heart that just really speaks to you. And I believe that that's fundamental. I think when we're missionless, that really impacts how we feel mentally. And one of the things I'm going to end on too, and I've been listening to this because I am into brain health, that there is a huge impact on the foundations of diet and supplementation on inflammation in our brain. And I've heard this from some experts that I've been listening to that say that our brains get inflamed based on some of the things that we eat. And obviously stress and a lot of other things, but some of these depression, anxieties are a result of inflammation in our brain. Our brain is not functioning that well. And so fundamentally and foundationally, really get yourself on a diet that works for you. There's some great evidence on some things that really, really work. If you're interested, reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to guide you in a direction. And you know what? Get a coach, get a mentor, get somebody. We all need help. We all need some encouragement. I have a mentor that said, sometimes people just need some encouragement. And, I totally agree with that. So, I hope this was helpful for you guys. I wanted to just pop on here and really kind of share some things about really kind of getting yourself into a spot if you're down. And if you're not down, if you're doing great, I think these tips, these ideas I got from Ryan, some of the things through my own experience, are just really helpful. So, comment below wherever you're finding this, share this with somebody who may need it, and have an awesome day.